Yo, yo. Oh, there she is. Connecting audio.
Oh, there's the audio.
Hi.
Oh my God, I look like I'm on fire. Wait, I gotta turn this around. That's too much light. Look, I look like a ghost.
I thought that's what you were going for.
I mean,
I thought your face was on fire. Now you're dead.
Wait, now I'm fucking dead.
Now you're dark. The life of Stella.
All right.
There you go. That's more natural.
Okay, hold on. Let me just grab my chair.
Studio lights.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
It's a giant bench because I don't have a chair. Okay.
All right. Comfortable.
Hi, Todd.
Hi, Stella. How's your face? Oh, doggy says hi too.
I have my spray bottle. You see this?
Yeah.
I fucking spray them every time they bark and they freak out. It's the funniest thing. It's like you might as well be shooting them with bullets. It's like
I feel like they would like that though in this weather.
No,
I like you to.
They pretty much hate it.
You can spray me in the face any day. I would rather you splash me in the face with some like wine you don't like to drink.
I really love whenever I travel, I get these it's Evian in a aerosol can, and you like spray your face with it, like it's like
like a mist.
Yeah. I love that.
I was very disappointed with my recent purchase of there's like this Dollar Shave Club. It's like a men's
right.
You might have heard,
I know what it is. Yeah.
So now they've been adding all this like men's products like aftershave, before shave, eye cream, things like that. So they have this like, I swore it said mist, like a face mist post. So I was looking so forward to this. I even got the boyfriend in on it. I swore he got the mist, and I got like a lotion. It's like a serum lotion. I was like that. I was very disappointed because I like a mist. Like it's
I do. I love to mist.
Sprayed on my face.
There's this Mario Badescu. It's a cosmetic line, and he makes a rose water mist. So you spray it on your face, and just so refreshing, and then it smells like roses. So yummy. Yeah.
That's what your face smells like.
Your face smells like roses.
Got it.
Yeah. What do you eating?
You said two lyrics, by the way, within this last 5 minutes. Your face smells like roses. And dude, my face is melting. So we already got 2 more singles coming. You're welcome.
It's a face kind of day.
Yeah. It was so funny how you said that too. Like my face I'm like, what did you do? What are you doing?
because the air was not on full power. It's because I just paid the electric bill. It was $140 this month, and
Go fund me. There you go.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, we don't need to be having the air conditioner on 24/7, right? So I put it on the eco setting. No. It goes back on.
What's your what temperature do you have it at normally?
72.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Yeah, 72.
That's normal. I've been hearing people going crazy with 66 and 68.
Oh no, that's too cold.
No.
72 is like the perfect temperature.
And you have a pretty you have a loft, but it's not too big, not too small. But it's still big.
it's got the 15-foot ceiling, so
Yeah.
it's a lot of power to
Go up there and
to condition this place, because it's not square footage wise, it's not
right.
huge, but tall. It's very tall.
Yeah.
You know.
And you have what, 3 rooms? 2 rooms?
We have a guest bedroom, the living room, which is one room with the kitchen, and the master bedroom, and then 2 bathrooms.
One for him and one for the dogs.
Well, it's 1.5 baths, so it's like a powder room for guests kind of thing. It doesn't have like a shower in there or anything.
That's what people put the water rose on their face.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Rose water.
To get you for your birthday.
Rose water.
And it's just going to be a rose and water. But it'll be Evian. It'll be Evian.
you just take a glass of water and like stick a rose in it, and you're like, here you go.
It's the thought that counts.
At Whole Foods. Oh my God, I have to tell you this. I like this is a serious thing. I'm not making this up. Cucumber water. It's a jar with water.
Yes.
And cucumbers in it, and then they sell it for like $10.
So
cucumber water. 10
years ago, and this you would find this. I should send this to you. It's a dietary topic. We're not talking about music, by the way. This is all just shopping and going to grocery stores.
Okay.
10 years ago, one of my co-teachers did this thing that she found called the flat belly diet. And it was, I didn't do it for that. I did it for portion control, because it had you eat something every 2 hours.
Oh, to speed your metabolism up.
Yep. And it was, I mean, I swear by it, but she did it for more like, I mean, she's like starved herself basically. Not really, but you know, she was a teacher, and it was just like, we're killing ourselves. But in between was cucumber or ginger lemon water, which I like the taste, but you piss so much.
Yeah.
So when you're like working and you can't leave, and
I mean, it's like has absolutely no calories in it. It's just straight. It's literally it's pretty much just drinking straight water.
But it's not worth. I would not pay $10 for that.
$10 for? I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is just a bunch of cucumbers in somebody's mason jar with tap water.
Yep.
You know. You
do the water rose, and I'll do the cucumbers, and there's your GoFundMe. There's your electric bill paid for.
Yeah, right.
Perfect. Oh, okay, so thank you for being patient. There's this thing called traffic. I haven't seen it in 5 months.
Right, I know. It's weird. It's all coming back. I know, dude, like my dog walking business is massive. I have 12 dogs a day.
Is that because everyone's back to work, or?
I guess like they're all working from home, but what's happening is like
they can't go out.
Their volume has like increased. Like people are doing like double the volume from working from home for some reason. I guess because there's not this constant interruptions of other people, and so it's just like one Zoom meeting after another. They don't leave. They just sit in their pajamas and work all day long. They don't even have time to go walk their dogs, even though they're home. So I've been getting hired like for even more walks than before COVID. You know,
you're trying to raise your own volume with music.
My dog volume.
I was actually disappointed today that you mentioned about Zooms back and forth. This whole week, there's been, well, it's whole week, it's Monday, but last week was, I felt like, okay, I needed to be there, but today I went and I sat at my desk at the school, and I got off one Zoom thing, and then I kept my headphones in because I was like, I got 5 more minutes before the next one, and I just sat there for 3 hours, hour and a half. Oh, it's spray bottle time.
I just sprayed them all.
That photo I showed you of that other artist, she there's a photo of her with a dog in the back. So you're the second interview. Well, you're next after her, but I never had a dog interrupt. So we had to pause near the end. Luckily, it was at the end, but she was so embarrassed. Like, oh my God. I'm like, it's a dog. Like,
Oh, just so you know, I'll be yelling at him through this whole interview because
she was so nice. And I may include this part and what she does. Say, hey,
do like a comparative analysis.
Look at what we should be doing.
I'm like, shut your goddamn mouths.
Rose water in the face by Stella. That'll be a commercial. Okay, so let me tell you, so you don't worry. We're just gonna. So the format of the show, so it's 2 hours, but the interview is like whatever, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I've never done. Well, see, I don't want to just talk about the song. I want to kind of lead up to it.
Okay.
So I want to do a little past, present, future, and just kind of go from there. And then we'll break it up. So that was my question before, like how much of, like I definitely want to, I don't want to go way back and go like back in the day, but I still kind of want to, because we're talking Sister Soleil. So we have to kind of.
It's Stella Soleil.
Stella Soleil. So we have to talk.
You have to go back because that is the I only have one record.
Yeah, well, but then I don't want to just fast forward. Like we can touch on as much in the middle as you want. We could definitely do Dub Witch stuff because that was you were station wise. People are knowing you for that, so that's what I want to get through. Is I think that's a good show of your talent to be that.
Okay.
But still be able to come back as this.
Aren't I like totally like schizophrenic? Like
somebody sprayed you in the face a lot with rose water, probably.
So many identities. It's I totally am like I'm like that show US of wait, what was it? US of Terra?
Yes.
Did you ever see?
Yeah, that's me. Based on you.
Yeah.
You would not be a musician like now I'm watching Alanis Morissette videos, but not her videos, like her interviews, and I've always admired her, but I never realized how quirky she is. There's you know how like when people Zoom, they all have the books behind them, and some people are just like, it seems like a show off. She actually has like read all those books, and she does this whole thing with Mary Claire and talks about she reads so much books. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I would love to talk to her, but I was like, you're kind of all over the place, girl.
A little bit what?
All over the place. Like she's but I like that. I think like duh. And so what you're saying right now, same thing. Like if you're not like voices in the head, then you're not going to come up with music.
I just been doing this for like almost 30 years, you know, and pretty much you know, how boring to just do the one project over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, go.
And it was coincidental that on what night was that? Sunday night we went out, and then so I have a rental car right now, and so it's been popping in just whatever is on my playlist, and I have like thousands of songs, 2,000 songs of all songs that, and it hit like after a minute and a half, I was just humming your Butterfly, and I was like, oh my God, this is her. Like he never heard any of your, well, no, he heard some of the Dub Witch stuff, but it was still like, oh, this is where it all began. And I showed him the photo, and then I was like, oh my God, this is so funny that.
That's like such a great song.
It really is. And
such a great song.
And it's still, I think you pointed on it, like going on to, we'll get into the lyrics of the new song, but like, I never realized how much of that song is stuck in your head, because it's the lyrics are just like simple, but when you
like the lies I tell myself,
yes,
alive. Yeah,
exactly what was in my head. And you have to pause and realize, oh, it's pretty deep.
That's deep, yo.
Yeah, because you were what 10 years old when that came out.
I was 3.
You were the Billie Eilish.
Yes, I was Billie Eilish in diapers.
She still is.
She's still awesome.
So we'll just go and we'll fill in like, because I was also trying to figure out when the last time you did like a show here, like a station show. Was that?
Oh, God, that's like probably like 8 years ago.
And
like 8 years ago.
That was the station when the station was a baby. No, I was trying to go on because I'm trying to update the website and I'm doing past like a archives page, and because that's when we were in studio still, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I started working for you at that studio, and you were the co-host for a while. We were doing it together, remember?
Yes.
That was
So
fun.
Bright Side. Okay, I'm just looking to see what I have. Right, it was the Bright Side. I'm just looking
Bright
at
Side,
dates, and
which is
then
kind of foreshadowing with what I'm doing now. We called our show The Bright Side, and then this song Save Your Life is like totally like in the same vein of The Bright Side, you
see,
know.
I always knew you had it in you.
You did.
What? So that okay? What year is it? 2020. God,
20 it was 2012.
20. No, there's no way.
Yeah, Dub Witch was released in 2012.
Wow. But then you did, because we started. This is our 5th year.
Then I started, so Dub Witch was 2012. And then I started working with Frank Delamora, and that's when I started doing The Witch. And what else did I do with him that I gave to you?
Spider?
But yeah, Spider, Crawl Like a Spider. It was just called Spider. Yeah.
Yeah.
I crawled like a spider to you. I crawl like a spider to
Yes.
you. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like so that was like that whole, I think I was calling that Sister Soleil.
Oh, really?
I think I was.
Oh, I have to double check while we have it labeled. So then that might, because that's where I'm going to ask is kind of, let's do that. Let's do like, I'm trying to get the date because we can do like where you left off. Because that was kind of one of the reasons you left too, is because you were starting both working with other artists, and the bug was starting to get in your ear about music, and then you were finishing school, so there's all, he had a bunch of stuff all at once.
Yeah. I mean, school took a good, I would say 2 years took me out musically.
Exactly. So it must have been like, I'm just thinking when it ended, it must have been 2018. I don't know, I can't find it.
2018 sounds about right. Because let's see. I remember I went snowboarding that year.
Yes, you used to do that. Yeah, I remember, and I started doing that too.
Louis was the co-host, and I remember buying him a T-shirt from Winter Park. Yeah, that was 2018.
Okay, so we'll just say that. And then, do you still have your notebooks?
I do.
That would actually give the dates.
I don't think I ever put a date on it.
No. Oh.
Just like scribbled notes.
It might have been in it, but just like.
Don't you think, how funny am I? I'm such a dork. Here I come with my notebook.
And it was like, I don't even have a notebook to like flip. It'll be flip. It was very natural, which I enjoyed. Okay. Well, I don't have a specific date.
I mean, I was picking out some very obscure, strange music to play because I put it all on my iPod. All the music that I found to play on the show, the new music. I mean, like, I had never heard of these bands before or after. And it's all on my iPod, and I'll be like, this is a cool song. Who's this? I'm like, I don't even know how did this get on my iPod? And it's all those bands that I found.
And I'm finding, I mean, I've always kept them in the library under indie. So there was like, I remember The Knife. There's a bunch that still just pop up.
The Knife is definitely way more well known than some of this other stuff that like Bat for Lashes. Bat for Lashes, I never had heard of them before. I stumbled onto them on YouTube and played them on our show,
Like you've really, I will honestly say, you had influence. You brought out the side of me that I needed to do because I was so focused on just the station as a whole that I never was satisfying like what I was into, which is exactly what you were doing. But I enjoyed that I saw you doing it. And then when you had and I basically, filled in. I picked up where you left off by just picking stuff that I'm just digging, but I'm also
Yeah.
then going further into who they are and what it all is. And that's you kind of like gave that format to the show now. But
That's
now
awesome.
the added thing is now interviewing the bands, because it's like that third layer. First you hear it, you're like, cool, what is this? And then you do the research and you're like, oh, I like now they're going in. And I remember one of these bands that I interviewed, they were very like, okay, what do you think? What do you think it's about? And I, did my interpretation, and he's like, cool. Yeah, that's your interpretation. And that was like the right answer. I was like, all right, good. Like no one's ever gonna really correct you unless it's, I guess way off. But that's when I started realizing, all right, this is what we need to.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm looking at, it looks like 2017.
Wow.
So we'll just go with that. So do you have any questions? Let's really just go with the flow. Like I have nothing written down. I have the word Stella written down. That's about it. Just in case I forget your name. Yeah, we just start, and then the good news about the recording is if you wanna, you're always great at station IDs and all that, so don't worry, I'm not going to bug you for those.
Oh no, please don't make me do those.
I was like, that's the only time that you would want
Louis
to
used
rehearse.
to sit here and like make me do them, and like and he'd be like, I'm sorry, you got to do it again. You got to do it again, and it would just like take me forever, and it was like the battle between
I still have the ones you did. I should look, because I play all that stuff still, but I was like, I don't know if I've heard you in a while, but we'll see how it goes. Let me check really quick. I'm curious if I still have, let's see, Stella. Oh, you know what I can do? Hi, Zoom. Actually, no. Let me share my screen. Hey, you've Zoomed before, right? Like,
yeah.
That's why you have a thing? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I have this brick and mortar band tomorrow, and now I just feel like everyone has it. He's the first person to go like, yeah, I'll set up an account. I'm like,
okay. I'll set up what?
An account.
Oh.
Like, oh, sure. He's kind of coming out of hiding. He's. Do you know brick and mortar? Have you heard?
I don't.
They're kind of like I would say poppy version of like the quirkiness of Flaming Lips.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
with the name like brick and mortar, they would have to be kind of quirky.
And it's two guys, one's a drummer, they just put on these like crazy shows, and it's so well produced and put together musically and visually, and then you find out it's just them two. Like it's
like the Black Keys.
Yeah, and then this whole pandemic thing, and then like I had to like tread lightly, like send a message here, a little poke here, and then he would write me back a couple of days later, just because he opened up to me on Facebook, and I was, for him not to, I guess we've been talking for a year, but he just he's been kind of in hiding. They put out one song, and that was it. It was actually called American Reality, which is a really good. It starts with the Chicago riots, the background, and then it's this like really powerful kind of pop rock song, but it's really kind of sad. I forgot how to share my screen.
I think that everybody's in hiding right now, like, and
still, right?
Yeah, still totally. And I've seen significant changes in people's personalities over the last 5 months, like significant, and
it's a good,
I just want to like,
what if you like what?
I just want to like bring them back, like,
you mean
that's like my goal is to bring everybody back.
They're like zoned out.
They're all like zombies, it's just too much. It's just emotionally too much to handle for anybody. And so now they're like unplugged. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah.
They're like unplugged, and hiding and just totally unplugged. And I get that you have to unplug, because I don't watch the news. And
Good.
at all, like I refuse. I will not read politics online. I won't read the news online. If I see a headline, I immediately get rid of it. I don't watch it on television, and my life in the last 3 months has been so much happier, and I realized like how completely um brainwashed and absorbed in it I was. And then to cut it off like that was just like, oh, I can breathe again, like I can breathe, like it's just,
And it was hard for
so
like the rest of us. I would say I felt a little bit at an advantage, but also disadvantage that I was able to, I can't say easily could shift to work it from home, but because I already had made the studio space. And then when the school closed in March, more people were kind of panicked, like, where do I set up? So, but then I realized like I'm in now my other space. So now I have a double space that I shouldn't also be doing my school Zoom calls here. I should. So I every day I struggled with where to go because it was still cold out. And then I started like eating better and doing more stuff at home, but then I wasn't like exercising. So like my legs started hurting and I just was kind of stuck. And but I was working because then and then I was hearing all the other stuff and think, okay, you know what? My problems are very first world right now, but I still think I was hiding because there's some people that I just lost touch with so many people.
honey, depression is it's no world. It's
And there's
every world.
so many levels of it. Like
Yeah. Depression is depression. It doesn't matter what
right.
part of the world you're in. You're just in that. It doesn't matter how well off you are. If you're swimming in deep depression, you might as well be in the parts of the world that are,
And I would say that I didn't realize how much as spontaneous as I feel I am, being back at work and having the schedule has made just a huge shift. Like I never didn't like my work, but I was kind of like, oh, I miss, I miss staying in. But I was like, no, I need this. I actually been getting up early and I go to work and I feel fine. I felt more alive in probably the last week and a half because I've been back on a schedule.
On a schedule. Well,
On a
because it's
routine.
structure. I mean,
Yes.
the first thing they do in therapy when they treat depressive disorders, the very first thing they do is make you get a job. Like it's like the first thing they're like, what can we do? We need to build structure in your life. If you're not working, that's the first thing a therapist will say. I don't care if it pays $2 an hour. You need to get a job.
Yeah, something.
And it's so important to go somewhere every day
and do. I mean, I even try to make my own routines. Like I get, so I have Netflix streaming, but people get shocked when I show them this. I still get the discs too because this is like the brand new stuff. But I would go out of my way to the mailbox so that I had like somewhere to go, like 2 blocks down, and I would go the long way, put my headphones on, just to like walk. I felt like that old lady who wanted to just go to the mall at 10 a.m.
Yeah. And like speed walk.
I would speed walk. Yeah. Oh,
speed walk
now
in the mall.
My legs hurt now because they're getting back to, I take the stairs and stuff. I don't have to, but I do. But I'm horrible at working out. Like I'll stop, but when I get back into it, let's say I was benching like, I don't know, 100 pounds. And let's say it's been 5 months. I will go back and just start right at 100 pounds.
So that is something that I completely got addicted to was working out during COVID. I mean, I have a Peloton and doing like 90-minute classes every day and then lifting. I have this whole program of dumbbells from 3.5 pounds to 20-pound dumbbells. And it's a whole entire total body program. And you work like different muscle groups every day for 5 days a week. So I was doing like 90-minute classes and then 45 minutes of lifting, like
And that's just at home.
at home. Yeah.
Wow.
And I just got like completely addicted to it. Like I get it why runners, like runners that train for marathons, they go through this thing where they call it a runner's depression, because when you're training for a marathon, the week before the marathon, you're not allowed to run at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so used to these dopamine levels in their brains from like running 20 miles a day. And then suddenly for 7 days before like the Chicago Marathon, the part of the training is that you completely rest and no running at all. And they all get like depression from it. Like, clinical depression.
Like, it becomes like an addiction, like a craving.
Well, it's a dopamine.
It is, yeah.
Wow. But I mean, it's better to be addicted to working out than anything. That's a good addiction,
Well, I was gonna say before before I got in, I was like, I want to eat something. So granted, I'm eating well. I think I told you we've been doing those little boxes and stuff. But in between, the boyfriend will always make little treats and just like make extras. So I'm like, oh my God, in the fridge is the blueberry and peach pie that he made. There's one more slice. I'm like, I'm eating that.
See, I'm so jealous because I have not eaten stuff like that in over a year. I like dropped now 50 pounds.
Wow.
And like I don't touch carbs or like anything sugar, and I did just have ice cream for the first time in a year. I had a scoop of chocolate ice cream with gummy bears.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Oh my God.
I've actually found, you answered the question though, but I was like, there's some things that I used to crave, and then I'll eat it now, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, chocolate ice cream with gummy bears, dude. That's all.
I mean, so I'm gonna just kind of nibble on it as we do this, but I don't do a lot of dairy anymore, so I do it's oat ice cream. It's a coffee fudge swirl.
They have this low calorie ice cream. The company is called Halo.
Yeah, they did. I just saw that.
It's awesome. The sea salt caramel Halo ice cream, the entire pint only has 320 calories in the entire pint.
So I only get pints now, and the grocery store always, I swear, every week has something new, something different, something. Ben and Jerry's does a bunch of non-dairy stuff, but they'll always like step it up. The only thing with a lot of those though is the sugars, but the keto one I kind of want to try.
The keto.
Keto.
So yeah, like when I was first deciding to go on, to change my entire lifestyle, basically to lose, 50 pounds.
And what I'm looking at on my phone while you're saying this is, I do remember vividly, you and I went to dinner. There it is.
Yes.
And a Greek town. And I remember that was, you had mentioned that. You're like, I want to lose this, blah, 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 blah. And that date was July 31st, 2019. So a year.
I had started losing weight at that point because I actually started in May, my major diet. And so like that first month of May, I lost like 15 pounds in 1 month.
2019 or this May?
2019.
Oh,
2019.
Okay.
Yeah. And because I've been on this diet now for over a year.
That's right, because in July, when we went there, you recommended some stuff, but we didn't like pig out. I think we got like soups.
I was really, really, really good at that point about not eating carbs and sugar. Yeah. So, but I did it, and but now that I've been it's not a diet anymore. It's just
A lifestyle, right?
it's lifestyle.
Yep.
Like, yeah, like I can't go back to eating
I don't think you will.
no, I can't. It's I don't even want it anymore.
Right.
You know, like I mean, I cook every night.
Mm-hmm.
I grill every night, even if it's 30 below zero outside. I will still
That's the
grill.
best time.
Yes,
We just ran out of propane, and it's been so hot, right? So
I just got them today.
Oh, well, see, I was going to get some yesterday, but I was like, it's too damn hot now. I'm just gonna wait. And I said, I'll just wait till it cools down. And I'm like, why? I'm like, it's the best because we got the deck. You can just run out really quick and.
Well, yeah, because I'm on the balcony on the fifth floor, and we have a giant balcony, and a propane gas grill, and every night.
Did you get the grill? You already had the grill.
So I got the grill 2 years ago.
Because I want to know how much. I never bought a propane tank. It always came with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I go through a propane tank every 2 to 3 weeks. But
you got a punch card. How much?
Yeah,
so how much?
But I mean, I'm grilling, like literally, I only cook on the grill. I don't use the kitchen at all. Like I just like how the food tastes. It just tastes better. Everything tastes better on the grill. I got a grilling basket for the vegetables. I mean, it's just like everything is yummy on the grill.
Yeah.
So
So how much is it? Like propane?
What?
What do you pay for like propane tank and?
So they have this propane exchange thing where you bring an empty in and then you pay $21 and you get one that's full. Oh. If you're just buying a propane tank without the exchange, it's like $51. But I exchange them all the time because if one gets empty, I just exchange it. So it's $21 and it lasts between 2 to 3 weeks cooking every night on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it soon.
It's pretty, I think it's portable,
Do you see the screen?
Yeah.
Why not tangent? I realized this. I forgot about this. You have the Trent Reznor, A Warm Place.
Oh, I gave you that track too.
I think we played it on the show once, but that was it. But what I'm trying to, so I don't have anything under. So we have Dub Witch.
What was the witch under?
The witch was Dub Witch.
Oh, so I was writing a new Dub Witch record with Frank. That's interesting.
Maybe I just assumed because maybe you were doing a Sister Soleil or Stella Soleil.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't even think I knew what I was writing it for. I think I was just writing. Okay. It's just kind of stick it wherever it's like most appropriate. But Frank and I, we have a really good writing relationship. Yeah,
and then
and we always write cool stuff together.
Okay, so then this is the question I had. So, Love Song, I have it under Sister Soleil, but it was Stella, right?
That was Sister Soleil.
Oh, that was okay. And then Ride a Waterfall, and then she goes insane.
That's all Sister Soleil.
Okay, so that's correct.
And Love Song.
That was the last thing, right?
So that I wrote with Howie Benno, who literally just passed away last week.
No.
Yeah, I was so just beside myself with grief. I couldn't believe it. It was so sudden.
How?
And I just talked to him and asked him if he wanted to work on some new Stella Soleil stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, of course, And 3 weeks later, I get a call from his friend saying that he had passed away that Friday. I found out on Tuesday.
Was it COVID related?
No, he did live in New York though, but no, it was not COVID. Honestly, I don't even know what it was. It doesn't make sense to me, but I guess he was sick at some point. He had cancer and it went away. It went into remission, and I guess it came back.
He just didn't, right? Oh God.
So.
Well, but there we go.
I didn't even know he was ill.
Right. Well, there you go. I think that'll be an honor to him to do this and kind of pick it up from there. Okay, I don't have to share But what actually what I was looking for was the IDs, but I guess I don't have. So I might put you
Please
on.
don't make me do ID.
I will just give you homework, and you can do it later
Okay.
when you're in the mood. When you I don't know, grill something.
No, if you make me do them, we should just get them over with.
True,
Because
true, true. Well, we'll do it. We'll do it at the end and
okay.
see how I feel. All right, so let's. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
mark
got an
some.
extra hour? Because that's about how long it'll take me to do them.
It's fine. That's why I brought the dessert. I'll do dinner later. You could, yeah, just order me a dinner and we'll be all good. You know, just no. The thing about Zoom, so the cool thing is that this does an automatic audio and video. So I don't have to, but the bad thing is, you know, like when you do recordings, it would have a timing thing, but I don't see, because I was going to mark where I'm at. Does it say anything on your end, like a timer?
I can't, it just says recording.
Okay. Let me find that really quick. I know there's an option for it. I just want to mark, well, we started at what?
5:50.
Did we think we were not going to talk at all? Yeah. All right, so I'll just put 5:50. I'll do the math. I was trying to get really good at time because some of these interviews with people I don't know, they're great, but they're all over the place, and I never write down the minutes, and then I'm scrambling, and then it'll air, and then I'll forget. I'll admit stuff will be taken. I won't include it because I think I got it all, but then they'll make a reference to it later, and I should have pieced it together.
And then it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
So now I have to do like lost tapes that I'll just post onto the original to make it bonus feature, because we've been doing really well with the Mixcloud and doing all those. So that's where this will go, is on the show, but then it'll be all pieced together. And
you have to tell me where to send my fans to watch.
Yeah. Oh, and it's a lot easier to find everything now because it's all on one page. All right, so we'll start, and we'll just go with the flow. So Stella, we have established that we believe it was February of 2017, which was my birthday month. I think your birthday gift to me was giving me the show and passing on all your notes and notebooks. And which it was cold, so I burned them for
fuel.
Heat, for fuel, right? Because back then we were just a wee little station.
Run your tractor. Yes.
With yep, exactly, and our mules, and we had all those things. So now we've grown up, and you've grown up, and looking back at your catalog, so Love Song was that 2018? Or
I believe it was 2018. Yeah.
So you had, besides your professional, like you went on back to school and got certification for other things.
AutoCAD. I got my certificate in AutoCAD.
Mm-hmm. But you had that, and then but the other half I felt was you started to get the buzz again because of like music.
Well, I started what started happening was that my friend, who is the GM at a big rock station in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Yes.
Sophia,
I remember.
She started developing artists that she wanted to develop and shop to labels, and she saw like
a little you in them.
And they needed songs. They needed help with specifically lyric writing,
mm-hmm.
and which is kind of my strong point. And so from working with them, I just, for a couple of years I did that, and I was just like, you know what, I feeling like I want to start writing for myself again, you know.
And so you did Dub which was during that time that you were here on the station, right?
So yeah, so I guess the Dub Witch stuff that you heard was stuff that I was doing later, because the original Dub Witch album came out in 2012.
Which we don't have.
Which you don't have. I have to get to you.
Yes. So then, because I remember Spider came first, I believe.
I thought the Witch came
first. I just remember they were very similar time periods. So what went, we'll back up a little bit because there's a lot, but we only have 2 hours. Gotta squeeze you in. Going from your debut
of which album?
Your sister, the debut was with Butterfly, yes?
Sister Soleil.
Sister Soleil.
Yes. So that was not my debut. That was my second record.
Oh my goodness. I think I know you.
It was my debut, I guess, on Universal. That was the first Universal release, but there was a record, the original EP, Sister Soleil Drown Me in You, it was called, is what absolutely started the whole ball rolling and got me a record deal and airplay. And so Solarium, the record you're talking about, was actually my second Sister Soleil record.
Well, I stand corrected. I am no longer a fan club member. You must take my card and rip it up.
You fell.
I did. So where does one go from, we were talking off air about how coincidental this interview we wanted to put together with you, because your fans have really just been waiting for you to do more music, and we wanted to do this interview, and we're going to talk about the new stuff and what's been happening. But it's coincidental that this song Butterfly popped up, and going back to what you just said about lyrics, it's I mean, I've never not thought you were a lyricist, but it made, as I grew up, because I grew up to that song, that it hits me now, like 30, 20 something years later. We were both babies then. You and I were just in the little cradles listening to this music. But it was
a 5-year-old Prodigy.
That's exactly, yes. And you were in the band Prodigy, probably, right?
When I was 5.
Right. So but just like that song, like you write these songs that just stick in your head, but they're very non-typical. So that song, but like that song it was ahead of its time, is what because now I hear it as someone who's doing this show and think, oh my God, this could fit perfectly into what's going on now.
Right.
But that was 1996.
Yeah,
right?
1998.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And it was it was an unfortunate time. It was a good time for women at that time, but it still was like ahead of its time.
It actually was a terrible time to be a woman in the industry as a musician, because what happened was new metal. New metal happened exactly at the time I was releasing my Sister Soleil record, and it took over all of radio, new metal, and
all the women
literally the program directors would say to me, I love the song Butterfly, but I just can't play it because we only play new metal now.
Yeah, there's no way to segue that.
We only play Limp Bizkit. We only play Korn.
We needed an Alt 360 back then, but that would have not happened.
Which is why the next record that I did after that record barely came out was a pop record, because the label I was on said there's no room for a woman in rock anymore because new metal has taken it over. They won't play, radio stations won't play female artists anymore, so the only place for you to go is pop.
Is Britney World.
That is how I became Stella Soleil.
So with that, how did... Well, let's talk about the names then, because that's where I was going to kind of go with Dub Witch. So Sister Soleil is what? What's Sister?
Sister Soleil was a name I came up with. I was sitting in a coffee shop with my writing partner on that project and my producer. His name was Howie Benno, and we put this project together ourselves. And we were kind of in this industrial rock scene, and there was like Sisters of Mercy, Sister of Machine Gun, I'm like, all right, so obviously I have to come up with a name
sister
that has to be sister in there. And then as we were talking, a suntan commercial, Bain de Soleil for the Saint-Tropez tan, came on, and I go, Soleil!
Oh my gosh.
Sister Soleil. That is how I came up with that name.
And what did they think? I mean, I hear it and it totally makes sense because I'm used to the name, but that's also a very bizarre name.
I know.
But
and it was really easy. It was really easy to use because there was absolutely no one else in the entire world that had that name. It was put together in a coffee shop on the fly because of a suntan commercial.
So then Stella, so we're gonna talk kiss.
Okay, so we
gotta do this. This is the part where I'm always like, all right, let's just get over with.
So then when I was told by Universal that I now had to be a pop artist instead of a rock artist, I was like, well, it can't be Sister Soleil because that would be just a complete departure. It's genre. I'm changing genres, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to go by my real name, which is Stella Katsoutis, but nobody can remember or even pronounce my long last.
I still can't spell it.
Greek name, which has like 20 letters in it, you know?
And they're all vowels.
Yeah. So I came up with the idea of just borrowing Soleil from Sister Soleil and becoming Stella Soleil.
Which could be the sister of
Stella.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I was differentiating between Sister Soleil and Stella Soleil so that the fans wouldn't be confused. It's not the same project, you know? Same person, different project.
So then that brings up something that well, we were talking about characters. So I'm glad you went over the process, but did you feel then, because I know more of the behind the scenes of how you felt during that time, did you begin to then realize you were being portrayed something, even though you've changed the name, and the fans were like following, but did you start to feel like, oh, I need to be this now? I can't put the sister in anymore. I need to stay the Stella?
So it was a very difficult thing for me to do because I hated pop. Mm-hmm. Like I never listened to pop ever.
She doesn't even drink it.
I don't even drink it. Not anymore. So like to psychologically get behind this new project, a pop project
that was in your face in a big old billboard in LA.
Oh, that story. We'll get to that story. I had to literally create a character. I'm like, the only way I'm going to be able to write this record is if it's a character that I'm creating, and the character is I don't know if you heard the Stella Soleil record, but there's a song on it called Twilight, and it's literally the story of how I was put together to become Stella Soleil.
And then became a book, right? And then it was a vampire.
And it was huge, and it was all me.
And you got nothing for it.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, yeah, so I created this character, this pop character. And
was that on with the Kiss Kiss song? That album?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's the last track on that album.
Symbolically. Was that intentional?
Literally if you listen to the lyrics, it's the whole story of how like I became this character, Twilight, you know, and it's.
What years did that? So we said 98 was Sister. This was what, 2001, 2?
2001.
1.
Yeah, so.
How long were you this character?
So unfortunately, like the album, well, first of all, the single blew up. Kiss Kiss was a cover of a Turkish song who
Oh.
was it was originally performed by an artist named Tarkan, and it sold 4 million records in Turkey alone. And my
And
label got the idea
they gobbled it up.
to adapt it into English and have me do it. And um, however, the biggest regret of doing that is that when we got the literal translations of Kiss Kiss, the literal translations were so, it did not make any sense. I mean, he, like, one of the lines was like, I dive into her womb, you know, like, I'm just stuff that it's not, it doesn't translate.
We know what he
literally.
meant.
Yeah, but I mean, I dive into her womb, and I'm not even sure what he meant, you know, like, like he talks about her uterus and stuff, you know, like, and so I was like, yeah, so I can't adapt this because this doesn't make sense in English. And they're like, well, can you just write any lyrics for it? And at the time, I didn't have time to do it because I was in Sweden working with these really incredible writers called Merlin Music. And it was like a group of pop writers. They did a lot of like Britney Spears records and like Toxic and all of that, you know, like, and they were incredible. And I was like so super focused on working with these guys that
So that's the Stella Soleil you
Stella
wanted
Soleil.
to be.
Yes. And so they just hired this writer in London just to write basically any old lyric. And when I read the lyrics that she wrote, I was stuck with them. And I was like, oh my God, this is the dumbest song ever.
And that is so great that you tell me that, because I don't think we've had that. I don't think you've told me that much of that, because I just heard more of, going into all the lyrics from all the other work that you've worked on. You talk about lyrics, and that song, the sound,
So
I
dumb.
actually thought it was, I knew Sister Soleil, so keep in mind, I'm still this like 20-year-old Sister Soleil, and then I'm now 20 something, and I'm working at Virgin in Chicago, and we also had that billboard, the little one though, and
Yeah, it
in the
was
window.
3 stories high, dude. It was 3 stories high.
Well, that was in LA though. In Chicago,
Yeah.
it wasn't. But my point is, I didn't put the two together, and that's the only song I really heard. So I actually thought it was a foreign. And when you said Turkey, that totally makes sense, because that, I thought that was somebody from a different country.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't even listen to the rest, because but it was on the Virgin Recommends. I remember that.
Yeah.
Compilation, and I liked the song, but it was still like, okay.
But the lyrics are so stupid. I was just, it was really like hard for me to record that record. In fact, I was so embarrassed by how lame the lyrics were that they actually hired girls to go in the studio and do the kissing sounds, because I that's why I drew the line. I'm like, I am not making kissing noises in the microphone. I'm not doing it. So they they hired like these girls just to come in and just do, you know, like do the kisses and kiss.
And that's
because
how Girls Gone Wild started.
Yeah.
And did you get anything from it? Nothing. Got nothing.
Just I needed to hang on to some of my integrity, you know. And then the song was huge.
Right.
Like
it was
huge, and I was like, why? Why is this?
Well, I was just going to say, because as much as you talked about that new metal, which I vividly remember the downfall of rock stations at that point, because Lilith Fair got taken over by Ozfest, all that stuff. So you walked into the pop world where you got your Britneys and your Shakiras and girl groups
Madonna.
like Destiny's Child. We don't mention her on this
Yes,
show.
I
You made
know.
me sign a clause.
I was just trying to add to the pain.
Yeah, so you're in this boat that's a huge boat that is just bound to just sink. Period.
Right.
Still not a good time for women at this time. I'm a fan of Alanis Morissette. I always talked
I love
about
Alanis Morissette.
this. What's that?
I said I also love Alanis
Yeah.
Morissette.
And so you'll agree with this most likely if you remember she had this third record come out where it was like a pop record that lyrically they got to keep it, but she had such a hard time having to make it sound like do you remember Jewel, the
I
Intuition?
was just going to say, what about Jewel's record when she went
Jewel
pop?
Intuition.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I love. That's still one of my favorite videos of, not of all time, but it's just like Jewel's Intuition just said exactly what you did, what Alanis did, and everyone else. Just, oh, let's put you on a billboard and make you flashy and hold a soda, and it just,
Yeah, it was
and they just wanted you for that one song.
Yeah, so they didn't even hardly work any of the other singles. It was Kiss Kiss was such a huge, I mean,
Departure.
It was, well, I mean, but it was such a huge success for like the label. It got up to number 9 in the top 40 charts,
Right.
and I mean,
but that's hard then to like, oh, what's it like? What would have been your choice for another single?
There's this really great song on that record called You, and it's really beautiful. And I actually wrote the whole thing a cappella, the whole song from beginning to end. I wrote it a cappella and arranged it vocally, and went into a studio with David Erickson, who just sat at the piano, and I just sang him the whole song while he just tried to find the chords around what I was singing. But it was such a significant song that I wrote. To me, it had such significance that I just wrote it a cappella. I didn't even write it with music or anything. It was all with lyrics, and it was just words and melody, vocal melody and words, So it was, I would say that's the best song on the record.
What happened? So how long did Kiss Kiss last?
Well, what happened was the record came out in May, or did it come out, or did it go to radio in May? What happened was 2 tragic things happened. One, they made me do a video with a director named Hype Williams, and he was like the big shot of the era of that time. He did Puff Daddy, Missy Elliott, it was that style, that flashy, like big color, big lights, big light shows, like those big productions, super, super expensive, like $1 million music videos. And they thought, well, we'll get him for Stella. But I was like a nobody. So it turned into, I just was like an extra in his video. Like, it wasn't even about anything that had to do with me or the song, or
like all those other people you mentioned were like the center points.
Right. Like if you watch this video there, I remember the head of my company being so angry that he's like, where are the beauty shots? There's no beauty shots of my artist anywhere in this film. He's like, you have all these dancers, and the star of the video is nowhere to be seen, hardly ever. And he didn't even have enough footage of me. And so the footage that you see, it's so bad. He actually used it in the final cut. There's lipstick. Like, my hair must have gotten into my red lipstick, and it pulled a red streak across my cheek like the Joker. And It's in the video. Like if you look at the end shots, you can see this because he didn't even have enough footage of me.
Because we played those videos too. Every Virgin Recommends had a video, like a VHS. And I remembered that. And then, so you started the Joker, is what I'm hearing.
Pretty much.
Wow, you
And
got all this
I
credit,
did
but nobody gives
it
you
was
money.
a really bad video, but it was #1 at MTV. It was oversaturated. They played it way too much. And radio, it got oversaturated in radio. Like it burned itself out so that, and then
Because it was a summer hit. I do remember it during the summer.
It was a summer hit, but it didn't come out till like the end of summer. And because what happened was this was exactly what they said to me. We're going to push the street date because we want to build anticipation. And I'm like, anticipation? I'm like, it's like, how much more anticipation? I mean, there's people like lined up outside of record stores asking for this record that's not there. And so by the time the record came out, nobody wanted to buy it. And it was the #1 most illegally downloaded single on the internet. Yes.
Thank you, Napster. Thank you. And did you get anything for that?
Hell no. No.
If you're sensing a theme, boys and girls.
It was the label's fault because the kids wanted it when they wanted it. They were pushing the street date. I mean, there was retail stores that would send reports back to the label, and I read those reports, and they're like, oh, we needed this record like 2 months ago.
Right.
You know, like it's done. What at that point, you're not going to sell any records once it's run its cycle.
And they also didn't, like the label, I feel, didn't put into account this other person that you were, and didn't know like that fan base. They were kind of like using the name, but they didn't understand.
Well, they didn't even admit that I ever had any kind of fan base previously to
That's
that.
what I mean.
It was like a do-over.
Which made no sense that they're saying anticipated, but at the same time, they're like, whoever she is.
No. It was because it was a hit at radio before the record came out.
Got it. Okay.
People were anticipating. There were stores were like begging for the record. We need this record. There are so many people coming into our stores wanting to buy this record, and it's not on the shelves. And the stupid label thought, oh, we're going to build even more anticipation. So when it drops, it's going to like sell 1 million records in the first week. Well, no, when it dropped, it was already done.
And I was going to say, it was on that compilation. Also, like, not saying that compilations were new, but I just remember them being a little bit more out there, which then you're done. I got the song.
Yeah. I got the song. It's
and I
done.
will admit that's probably the only, well, I guess I'm going to contradict myself because I don't have any of your other stuff, but I never listened to the rest of it.
Well, so the rest of it is actually really good. Which
now I want to go back and now you name the songs.
To it because I wrote some really great songs on that record.
And that seems like that. The rest of it. So how many tracks is there? What?
12.
12. So 11.
Yeah. So I wrote 11 tracks on there.
Okay.
And the one song that I didn't have anything to do with was the huge hit. And
did the original guy? Was he still alive? Oh, is he around? Like.
Tarkan, is he around now?
No, then did he?
Oh, he was around then.
Did they say anything?
Oh, I got death threats from the Turkish National Front.
Is this why you don't eat turkey anymore?
They were pissed that I did this in English and it didn't
messed up the words.
And the words didn't have anything to do with
the womb.
Words.
There's no womb.
But here's the thing. It didn't even make sense because in order for Universal to get permission to adapt it, they had to get permission from like the 7 writers on that song. All 7 writers on that song gave us permission to do what we did.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Tarkan, he was just an artist who covered the song. He didn't write it, so I don't know why the Tarkan fans were so mad.
Was the original called Kiss Kiss?
Samaric. The original was called Samaric.
Samaric. Does that mean kiss?
No, I don't even know what it means, to tell you the truth. I don't even know what it means.
So that was I'm going to look that up while we go on to the middle 2000s, which was, I don't know what the middle 2000s were in the music world. There was like, then the new metal kind of went away. Indie kind of popped in, but then what do we do?
So mid 2000s, I was working as an A&R person for Universal Records. I was no longer an artist. Now I was on the label side.
So what was the segue like with that? Like, did they just go, okay, we're done, come work for us? Or was this your...
I started, so when they dropped me, I was living in LA and I started developing other artists. It's like, it was kind of like this thing that I got into on my own, was basically helping other artists, get record deals and stuff. And I wound up developing this band called the Astra Heights, and they were incredible. And I worked with them for 2 years. And then
you had not done that prior, right? This was, you were doing this job and started to fall kind of in love with that idea.
So I was just doing it on my own. And then I brought the band to Universal to shop them. They signed the band and then hired me as A&R.
Got it.
So,
okay. So good.
In 2005. Yeah.
I just wanted you to have that moment to, like, they gave you something good. Like, I felt like the kiss stuff, like they were just pushing you down, that they realized, okay, we got somebody here who...
Well, it's because I had also brought to them 2 bands that like became like worldwide huge acts, and they passed on them. When I was an artist, I brought them Slipknot, and they passed on Slipknot. And then when I was in London, I found Coldplay, and I called them and I'm like, you have to sign this band. They're going to be huge. And they passed on Coldplay. So I already had this like kind of
ear,
this track record of finding bands that would become like huge sensations.
And I never heard of it. Slipknot and Play of
Coldplay. Yeah. So
what do you remember what they said?
So for Slipknot, they didn't understand the masks. That's why they didn't sign them.
Guess who's wearing masks now? You were so ahead of them.
I was like 20 years ahead of them. Yes. And Coldplay, I played them the song Yellow, and I said they'd already had a deal in England, in the UK. They were signed to I can't remember the label they were signed to, but they didn't have a deal in America. And
we had the import at Virgin, and I remember nobody knew anything about them. And I went to London that year with Alberto, and we saw these Coldplay things all over the place. And then we come back to the US and we're like, oh, there's that band that we just heard.
Well, I tried to get that band. I tried to get Universal to get that band.
You could have been scooping right now.
Yes. I mean, and they passed because they didn't pass. What they said was, we just want to wait and see what happens. And I'm like, if you wait and see, it's going to be too late, because then the company that they're on right now in the UK will have first rights to sign them in America when you wait and see what happens. And that's exactly what happened. Yep. So when they finally saw that it was a huge hit, it was too late.
And
they needed to sign them when I told them to sign them. So
try to fix you.
Hiring me as an A&R person was not that far of a stretch for them,
So did that last? Was that short-lived?
Short-lived. It was one.
I mean, I watched plenty of Empire, so I know what it's like.
Yeah, worst experience of my life.
So So that was mid 2000s, and then we get.
So then
where?
2007. 2007. Clown from Slipknot comes to LA to find me and talks me into moving to Iowa to become...
That sounds like a nightmare, by the way.
Lead singer of Dirty Little Rabbits of his new band, and that was my second record deal. That was so we got a record deal on the End Records, which was subsidiary of Sony, and that lasted till 2010, and it ended with a very brutal Warped tour. I was on crutches. I had a broken ankle and a broken rib, and I did 18 shows like that.
Is it because of the clown in Iowa? And the Dirty Rabbits.
I broke my ankle because we were playing a show in Des Moines, Iowa, and I went to walk down this dark hallway and fell down a flight of stairs because it wasn't a hallway, it was a stairwell that had no lights.
The clown was pushing you. Was it Pennywise? Pennywise?
No.
You'll float too.
It was just Sean Cran. But
so you were in the band?
I was the lead singer, yeah.
What is it?
Do you even know about this band?
I know of the Slipknot. What was it called?
Dirty Little Rabbits. And the song, there was probably the best song I've ever written in my life was with that band. It was a song called Hello.
Hello.
And
you have You and Hello. Those are your two big songs. And Butterfly. Hello, Butterfly. You Butterfly.
You will love. I'm telling you right now, you will hear Hello and you will fall in love because it is so good. It's so, so good. But, bands are so hard to keep together, especially when one of the members is in Slipknot.
Was it because that was kind of their escalation up at that point? So,
I mean, they were huge.
Huge, right?
We just could not. Every time we would book a tour, it would get canceled because of something Slipknot, and every time we tried to do anything, something would happen because Slipknot. Yeah. And I just, by 2010, we were just all kind of tired of being a side project, Could
you not just have always been like the opener or the work together? And
it was a totally different, it was a completely different, it wasn't metal. It was pop, and their fans hated us because it was a pop band fronted by a woman. I mean, it couldn't be the antithesis to Slipknot.
Get to the kitchen and make these boys some food.
Go get pregnant.
Yes, that too. Right. Going on this theme of women too. I mean, we're kind of unintentionally talking about the women of the women in music leading up to present day, because this was again a time 10 years later of your other pop hit, where women are now, I felt like the music world got quiet in 2012. Like everything kind of got quiet. But this is when EDM and all that, but it was still like the rock slowed down a little bit. So women had this really
surgeon.
And the stairs were there, and you were going up. But that's when Dubwitch came.
Yes, and that was my experimental. So 2012 was Dubwitch, and I just wanted to make a record that had no genre, could not, it just experimental is the genre.
Yeah, because it's very dark. Before we go there, when did that Trent Reznor thing happen?
That was 1999.
Oh, that was early. Okay, I was just wondering if there was like a bug that bit you there. Trent.
Well, I mean, that bug has always been there, I mean, I've been such a monumental fan of Nine Inch Nails, so to have ever worked with Trent Reznor was career alter. I mean, it was, my life was altered, after that experience, so
he bit me. I'd be feeling
me hard.
So then lyrically, did you plan to make Dubwitch? What is Dubwitch? And the sound, was that intentional, or was it lyrical first and then?
So that record was like the first record where I was writing the sounds before the lyrics,
Okay.
and I never really worked that way, and it was more about, I got into this genre of music. I don't even know if you could call it a genre. It's just so underground, called Witch House. Do you know Witch House?
I don't know which house. Sometimes I wonder that on Saturday nights. Which house
Yeah.
am I at?
Witch House.
Which house? No, I have not. Like
Um,
is that like a subgenre of
it's like a subgenre. It's like
like goth, like one of those
it's way below goth. It's like it's
below.
like
You're below me,
it's
goth.
almost like, it sounds like horror film soundtracks stuff.
Well,
That's what it sounds like.
what I like, I mean, again, it is ahead of its time because I've always liked the digital sound, and I think 2012, as much as it was getting to be more techno-ish and dancey, was a really good ear can. I mean, I'm thinking Nine Inch Nails, for example. I think one of their best couple albums, Ear Candy, was around that era. That you can just play around with all these cool sounds that you had to have good stereo and good ears to hear all those little bits. And that's what caught literally my ear when I heard it.
Well, also what at that time, which was mega huge, was dubstep. So
Yeah,
Dub
like
Witch,
yeah.
Dub Witch was like a combination of dubstep and Witch House.
Did you get Skrillex at all involved?
I did not. You mean, did I get him? Like, did I understand him, or did I
No,
get him?
I was like, collaborate with him. I don't know. He would have
No.
been.
At that point, I was like a nobody. So Skrillex would have no use for someone like me.
Did you feel then? Okay, so you said it experimental. Was it hopes of something, or you're just like, I'm just going to do it just to do it, and then
I was more like just kind of like, I'm just going to do it to do it, and then I started doing shows solo, which I had never done before, where it was just me and Machine, and on stage playing Machine and singing into a microphone. And then I would always like paint my face like
yeah, you had like tribal,
even like a skeleton, or like I was really into like this kind of horror makeup,
well, your favorite
thing.
movie was Nightmare Before Christmas.
What?
Nightmare Before Christmas, like skeleton film.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah. Well, yeah, Jack Skeleton, exactly that kind of look, for sure.
Did you do any? Did any Soleil come out during that time?
No, that was it was a crossover between dubstep and Witch House. I mean, fully about those two, mixing those two genres together. The lyrics were just stream of conscious kind of stuff, which I never done before. Most of my lyric writing is very intentional and very personal and always autobiographical, and but Dub Witch was experimental all the way around.
Well, it was very, I'm
it
a
was
fan
liberating. It was liberating to try and do a record in a way that I had never allowed myself to do before, so, and most people did not get that record.
Well, that was gonna be my question. So let's look at the fans now. So I feel like in the background of all of this that we've talked about since '98, and it's been this like roller coaster ride, and some are like getting off, and some of them are back on. And so when Dub Witch happened, what was the audience like?
They were completely confused. They were like,
but did you find a different fan base? Because I felt like that happened here at the station, because all of a sudden these songs were being like requested. Granted, you were on the station, but it was still like.
So I think that when you started playing Dub Witch, I had already evolved into crossing it over into pop, like, because it was more like edgy pop that.
And the sound started to mend with what, like, it followed almost afterwards with.
Right. And so it's like, it was the 2012 record of Dub Witch that came out was so experimental. that it could never be played at any radio set. I mean, it was just so, I did it on purpose, like I wasn't looking for airplay. I wasn't looking.
And isn't it like, I'm just looking at that 10-year span.
Yeah.
2002, what were you, where, it's a complete opposite. It's like, it's almost like this was your teenage years where you're like, fuck you, Dad, I'm going to dye my hair black and I'm going to put a skeleton on and I'm going to purposely piss everybody off at Thanksgiving. I hate turkey.
And I'm not drinking milk anymore.
Right. No pop. Pop.
So, but then in 2018, when you guys started playing Dub Witch, that was a different version of Dub Witch. That's when I was writing lyrically.
It was the reverse.
My old self again. And
what was the album called then? For Dub Witch? The 2012?
2012, Under a Dub Witch Moon.
So what is Dub Witch?
Dub Witch is the cross between dubstep and witch house.
I just totally answered that in my head.
Yeah.
Duh, pay attention.
Hello.
Skrillex came up with it. Dub Witch. Okay, I like that. So then you had confused audiences. Did you feel, because this is when we get into present times, when you left the show, you started to again work with artists. You got that back. Started
developing artists again.
And then Dub Witch went away. They went back to the forest.
It did. But the thing is I only had written I didn't do a whole record of that 2018, those singles.
Those
I just
two,
put
Spider.
2 singles. That's all I wrote with Dub Witch at that point. And I think it's because I was gearing up to actually go back to my pop roots. And that was like that 2018, those songs that I gave you were like transitioning back into my roots, and to get me where I am today.
Your dog agrees. That was perfect timing on that dog's part.
I know.
So so we had Spider and the Witch.
Right.
Lyrically, was there anything autobiographical? Maybe I didn't hear it.
It was autobiographical for sure.
About that time or about a time?
It was about that time. It was definitely.
So how would you sum?
I was kind of in a dark place in 2012,
which is why we called the show The Bright Side, because you were so dark and dreary.
And those songs were reflective of I was suffering from depression, and it was a dark time, and so the music was, it was darker subject matter, but then I had lots and lots and lots of therapy. Lots of therapy. I went back to college.
Yeah.
And
I feel like I joked that you were the teenager that went all gothic, but it totally makes sense, because then you're like, I'm going to college and now I'm going to experiment again, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. And then I got straight A's in school, which was totally different because I flunked out of college the first time around. So to get an A in college was
what did you originally go to school for?
Oh, I didn't even want to go to college. My parents forced me. I just wanted to be a musician. And so I basically would sign up for any class that sounded halfway interesting. They were all electives. I had no major. By the time I got to be a junior, the college was like, you have to declare a major or you cannot continue your college education.
And you said, I declare.
Yeah. And
what school was this?
I started out at DePaul, which was good. I had a good year. Hold on. Stop it. Get over here.
Speaking of your husband.
No, that was my dog.
I know.
So what was the question before my dog so rudely interrupted?
That was the question. No, it was, you went to DePaul.
Oh yeah, I went to DePaul. I had a good year. But then my parents, who were old school Greeks.
Mm.
Like my dad was
From
from the old country, and
Sparta.
he could not handle me being away at school, even though it was only 45 minutes away.
Because you grew up.
And they made me come back home. And that was like the biggest mistake they could have made, because I was like, all right, so I don't even want to go to college. You're not even letting me go to college the way I want to go to college, which is at least out of the house.
You would have loved college. Now, I mean, you did
come,
go back, but now it's like online
so
courses.
I transferred to UIC, and I sat in the cafeteria every day and never went to class. It's like,
you learned
nothing. Yeah.
how to cook and food, and you knew what not to eat.
I hung out with my friends in the cafeteria for like 6 or 7 hours a day for like 2 years.
Wow.
You know,
so
until I got kicked out for terrible grades. I never went to class, you know? So that was like kind of a rebellion against my family. And then when I got kicked out of college, I was like, you know what? I want to be a musician. I'm not going to do this school thing. I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm not going to be a business person. I'm going to be a musician. I moved out of the house at 24 and became a full-time musician. And by 26, I got my record deal on Universal. So
there's been more people on the show over the last 2 years that have pretty much said that same statement. We are about to enter the college years. This is a show kind of based off school. So we have to say a disclaimer. Kids, stay in school,
or don't stay in school.
Show up on this show and you'll...
Kids, quit school. If you don't want to go to school, follow your dreams.
Go to Turkey, get the biggest hit in Turkey, change the lyrics. You'll make it big from there. So you went back to school, and then, but again, that was just like...
So I went back to school in 2016,
17, because we were doing the show, and then that's what I meant. Like, you had, it was the best like mutual departure, because it wasn't like you're like, I'm just bored. No, you just had... I felt like a little bit that the show helped you kind of get the ear for, because you even said like your assignments basically were just like find music, and you did, but you of course went above and beyond, and you had your notebooks, and it was just like flip, and so you had that side, and then you had like adult responsibility side, which was, it sounds like not saying it like a bad change, but that seemed to be like a big shift for you, because then you got more into...
Well, it's just I really thought I was done being a musician. I just like like the most that I could do, or that I even wanted to do at that point, was just develop other artists, and but I really just wanted to focus on college for once, focus on school, do really well, just kind of prove to myself that I could do that, and so that was 2 years. And then I got my certificate, and then I started really working hard developing these other artists. And then I just got to the point where, well, actually, I mean, that brings us up to present, which is I started working, like for the last year, I've been working with this amazingly talented metal artist named Jesse. His name is Jesse Dean, and his band is called Narcotic Self. And he came to Chicago to work with me to help him improve on lyric writing.
Lyrics.
Yeah.
Before, when did Love Song? Because I want to go in.
Love Song happened around that same time, like
2018.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the time, so on my point of view, and I like that you said that you felt that you were done, because you came in to the station, and we knew of those two, the Dubwitch stuff, but then it just didn't go anywhere, and then it was just like, oh, here's this, you're just coming in and talking about music. are you doing anything else? So when it came time to send you on your way, open the door, I was like the parent to go, no, you're not coming. You're not staying on my couch anymore. And so
spread your wings, fly.
pretty much, yeah. I want to back up. One more question I had was, because you had introduced me to some of the artists. Well, did anything come of that work?
So right now, Jesse has been working so hard on his album for this whole last year, and I've been working with him and just really co-writing with him and really putting a lot of energy into his project.
Okay.
And so he's about ready to finally record a full-length album. He's got all the songs written, and
I'll try to find a show for him that like talks about music. But
yeah, when he's ready, like he's just going into the actual recording process now, so that could take another 6 months, but from working with him, well, then COVID happened, so I was working with Jesse, and then up until March, and then COVID happened, and then the lockdown happened, and then I got really scared because, like I had briefly mentioned, that I had suffered from pretty severe depression in the past, and it got pretty scary, and
did it? So that, yeah, because you had said that was probably like a year. So it seemed like you had looked ahead before March to get back into.
Not for myself, not really. No.
Oh, okay.
No, for myself happened. Bella, stop it. Sorry, my dog's name is Bella, and she's really annoying.
Bella and Stella. That's going to be our new morning show.
Because, you know why? Because I'm a twihard, and I named her after Twilight. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm that person. Anyway, COVID happened. I was extremely worried about people with mental health issues going into isolation because it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous, and I know this personally from my own experience, and that is when I decided. It started out with me calling my old bandmates from Dirty Little Rabbits to say, you want to put that back together and do an album and have it be all positive messages and release it during COVID to help people cope with their emotional pain. Like that was it was a concept record, but they couldn't get it together. They were actually too depressed to make it happen. And so that's when I was like, you know what?
Nobody was doing like newer buzz stuff. They're either covering, doing acoustic versions.
So how it happened was I have a dog walking business. That's like, I'm the singing dog walker. And I had my mask on, and I'm walking some clients' dogs.
Was it a Slipknot mask?
No, just my COVID mask.
Okay.
And I was walking, and then all of a sudden, the whole song literally popped into my head, and I was like, oh my God. And I whipped out my phone, and I hit voice memo, and I started singing at the top of my lungs as I'm walking down the street.
Mask on and everything?
On the iPhone, because I was afraid I would forget the melody, and everybody was looking at me like I was a crazy person. People were passing me, just staring at me, like walking away from me. And I was like, by the time I got back home, I told my husband, I'm like, we need to pull up some beats right now. And I literally went into the studio and cut the whole vocal, lyrics written, everything. It came to me like in 10 minutes, and to a bunch of drum beats, no music. And I then took that recording and went back to my writing partner, Frank Delamora, who was doing the Dub Witch stuff with me in 2018. And I said, can you take this vocal and write can you write some chord progressions around it? And he did, and that is what you now hear as Save Your Life, which is, the message is the power of music. This actually happened to me when I was in treatment for depression. I went through a lot of different therapies. I was doing like dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT. I was doing cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. I was doing music therapy. And in this music therapy session, the doctor played some obscure Pink Floyd song. And I'm not kidding you, for 5 minutes, the pain that I was feeling went away. Like, it completely disappeared for 5 minutes.
Which is funny you mentioned this, because Roger Waters has been doing some work now that it's like this resurgence of him, and I wonder if there's something in his.
Well, there's something in the frequencies of Pink Floyd music that's very like that a lot of people say they have the same similar response, that's very soothing and very like it's something to do with the frequencies of music that they actually write in. But my point is that I learned from that therapy session that the power of music to stop emotional pain, or at least to pause it, is completely possible. So fast forward to COVID, in my mind, I was going to take this song, Save Your Life. The whole thing is literally about, take this song, play it, and just pause your pain. Pause your pain long enough.
For 4 minutes.
For 3 minutes. And this is long enough time for you to pick up the phone and call for help. Call an ambulance if you need to. Call your friend to come and save your life. You know, like this is the whole point of Save Your Life. It's to pause the pain to get you out of crisis.
What was the time gap between therapy and this song?
8 years.
Wow. The reason I ask is because I feel like now that you've gone through the time frame of things where everything seemed to be about music just not going anywhere, this is the first time. So behind the scenes, for those listening, Stella and I have always kept in touch. All I was trying to do is have dinner with you at Greektown. And, but the buzz that you had was more radiant than I've ever seen. I mean, because you had Love Song last year, which was fun. Obviously it's very obvious what it's about, but it was just, you had a little excitement about it, but then that was it. I remember having that conversation, or just we have that conversation like, oh yeah, here's this, and again it was me going, oh, and that's it. Like I wanted. So this is the first time now that I feel like you're realizing, and you just said it, like the music is the cure. It is the
cure. It is the power.
Yeah.
Music is it's the answer. It's the answer to isolation and depression and suicidal ideation. It is the answer, because when you're in crisis, when you're really, really there, there's no logic. And there's no logic in that. You can't rationalize yourself out of a suicide attempt or about to have a suicide attempt. There's no rationale. But music has the power to actually change that, just sensually change that perception and mood long enough for you to act on it. Logic, talking to somebody that's in crisis is not going to work, but music will.
Was it? So then you had the lyrics, and then
so the lyrics came to me. I mean, I knew exactly, it just came into my head. I knew exactly what it is. I knew exactly what I was saying. I was speaking from my own experience. I felt like I had the answer that I absolutely needed to share with everybody as fast as I could.
Then the sound came in, right? Because this was now back to that typical way that you are working. Did you have to change anything of it when it was presented to you?
I pretty much directed him to the sound.
Got it.
I started out by saying, I want piano in this section. I want you to, in this section, I want you to write chords that are minor chords, piano chords, but I don't want it to sound happy. It needs to sound darker. It needs to be black keys, and in the chorus, I want big synth. I want big uplifting, big synth, and like, so I gave him this direction, and this is what he came back with.
So moving forward now, because you've been on this, and to kind of go on off topic, but we were on topic for 45 minutes off air about you're at this point, you've also were self-caring yourself, not just with music, but health-wise, food and
yes. I lost 50 pounds.
but you did it healthy, like you
healthy, yeah. I changed my whole lifestyle.
Which you've always been. I mean, you've always been very. Besides your what was it? Gummies and gummy worms and chocolate.
Oh my god! The chocolate ice cream with gummy bears. That's my downfall.
Remember that, folks. But you've been on this up, and now we're halfway. I can't believe it. Over halfway over the year. What is, since we've talked, you've put the song together. You have a lyric video.
Yes.
You're working on a video.
I'm working on a video. Yes. That's probably will take me 4 to 6 weeks to get that finished.
Okay. And then what?
And then, so in the meantime, now I put together a promotions team.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
The fan thing, right? You said you were going to go out and get those fans back. I'm here.
Yes, exactly.
The sister is back.
I basically put up a post on my Facebook page asking for volunteers of fans of Stella Soleil, that era.
Right.
Because I was bringing that back, and that I needed...
no kiss. No turkey.
And you know what? It's history. It's a part of me.
It really is. But so you expected, I remember you telling me this, like it was, you're like, all right, maybe. You ended up getting a ridiculous amount, right?
There were like 60 comments on that, like on that thread. And so, but actually what wound up happening is this one person, her name is Celeste, and she's like a super fan. Mm-hmm. And she is so on fire. Like, so I had this list of 466 college radio stations across the country.
That's the last time we talked. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, how am I going to research every station on this list to find out what their playlist is, what the submission requirements are, whose attention is it to? Is it a designated show that plays pop? Right. And because
do they accept CDs? Do they want digital?
What format do they want? Is it MP3s? Is it hard copies? And so to research, to go on their website to try and find this information, to try and contact them on Facebook or even on the phone, I mean, it takes hours and
most
hours.
Of them are out. Like when I pitch in for the charts, they're always saying, we know you're remote, to everyone, like the college stations.
Yeah.
I mean, they're working, but
they're working
at home.
So the thing is so we've contacted between Celeste and I, we're like at 350 stations.
Wow. Out of, what was it,
466. Okay. And so what we've decided is that we're not going to pitch until September because they're going back to school in September. So all we're doing is collecting the data that we need, and then we start making the pitches in September to college radio, and specifically college radio that plays top 40. And there's a lot of them, like almost every single station. Yes. Every single station that I've come across has a top 40 show, has a pop show.
I showed you the list, and so going on this timeline that we had talked about, because again, I give you credit for the making me realize what I hadn't been doing for probably 10 years, because it was like mid 2000s I really got into like the indie scene, and I was really like, oh, you gotta check them out before Napster went away, but everything iTunes have, so just promoting them out, and here I'm doing it, but I wasn't doing it. And now I think indie and that crossover is so common now, where you could have like even a Fiona Apple fit in with
Beyonce.
whatever else is out there and just be like,
Yep.
cool. That's what, so that, yeah.
Well, that's the beauty, like that's the beauty of internet radio, of public radio, of independent radio, of college radio, when they're not owned by Clear Channel or iHeartRadio or like these kind of super parent companies that may dictate what you can play and what you should be playing and not playing, you know, like when they're independent, like college stations still are, these kids play whatever they want. It's all variety.
And it's you doing the show, like, and you know, they're the real college you. Yeah. You're still the college you.
Yeah.
Well, so September. So what do you think that, like, how much has more words come into your head now since walking the dog? It's the last time.
So I'm like, so right now I'm so hyper focused on getting this out that like I kind of haven't been writing more music just because I'm like focused on the label aspect of it. Like I'm working promotions right now for it, you know, like,
because it's no label.
No label. No, and I mean I'm not opposed, you know, but I don't.
Would you ever do like your own thing?
I mean, I had my own label at one point, Catharsis Records, you know, I could do that again, but it's so consuming. I mean, trying to be the artist and the label at the same time it's just not enough time, you know.
Well, like, yeah, and then you're dividing your you know, what's it, Sophie's Choice, you know, like I want to help these people still, but now I got this, you know, going for me.
Well, that's what's happening to me right now. Is like I'm so engrossed in radio right now that like I don't have the time to write another single. You know, like and shooting music videos and you know doing lyric videos and you know like it's all about the single.
And it's not it's a different time too, because so Stella came to me a couple of weeks ago and you were just. I have the voicemail and it was great. It was just like, Todd, I don't know radio now. I don't know what to do. Like you gotta tell me. And I love that you did that because it was kind of like paying it forward, because I thought the same thing in 5 years ago, where I was like, all right, we're doing this internet thing where people are like, oh, so you like Spotify? No. Like I'm gonna talk to you and I'm gonna play music for you. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, okay, yeah. So now is even a better time because there are so many.
Wait, sorry. Hold on, Todd. Somebody's coming in and the dogs are going nuts. Can you hear them in the background?
No, can't. My ears aren't bleeding.
All right, I'm sorry. Continue. My husband just came home.
How dare he? No, I was saying like it's people are just putting out singles. The fear is gone where you're like, oh, I have to have something to follow up. Like people put a single. And then like 6 months later, maybe even a year, another single comes out, and then another, and then all of a sudden it turns into this album. So I've had so many people on the show.
You totally gave me that. You're the one that gave me that idea. Like put out 4 singles in a year and then drop an album next year. You know, like that's you came up with that idea for me. You know, like
the artists on the show did.
Okay, well you communicated that to me,
I told them that
it was a really good idea. And that is what I'm going to do. But I'm so like totally like just on fire with the single, like
just like your face was on fire earlier.
My face was melting. And you know that I just don't have time to write another single right now. I will.
That's good because you don't want to force it, and no one's obviously forcing you to do that.
I mean, I just want to be ready to launch this to radio in like
a couple weeks.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. Yeah, so that all my focus is on that, you know, all my focus is there right now. And
are you back on the social medias?
Yeah, I'm on everything. So
What are you? I know I have you, but I always, I want to get the effort.
Facebook, there's a Stella Soleil page now. There's a Twitter. It's at, nope, I'm not going to tell you because I can't remember what it is.
On Twitter?
I can't remember what my Twitter address is.
I actually have I actually I have the app, but what do you call it? Uninstalled it because we post everything on Twitter, but I feel like Twitter's more like the news stuff and like I'm all Instagram.
Yeah.
Especially like you're a visual. So, do you have okay? Oh, hold on. Do you have an image in your head of what Save Your Life, what Stella Soleil looks like now?
Yeah, I'm actually
50 pounds lighter.
I actually just bought what I'm wearing it's so cool in the video, it totally goes with the artwork to the single.
So where's the artwork come from? I mean, I haven't seen it, but
so this is really great. So my friend, I've been friends with a really like a super talented person named Jim Marcus. I don't know if you remember the band Warsaw.
Maybe.
Like industrial rock band, 90s, had a hit, like one hit. Anyway, so he's Warsaw, and I've known him for many years. He also is an incredible graphic artist, and he did all the artwork on like almost all of my albums. And
yeah, you did, because you had what was the one album? It was the Glitter Gold.
Glitter Gold.
The cover was like very.
Are you talking about no, the albums he did was my first one where I was blowing bubblegum in a bra and bell bottoms on the cover, and then the second one was Solarium, the second Sister Soleil record, where it was my face with the heart on my lips. Yeah. And so
who did my favorite photo? That's, I mean, it's almost like too perfect though, because you do, as much as you were so worried about the way you look, you photo well, but there's the one that we were using for the show, but it was like the headphone one.
Dubwitch.
But who did that? Who took that? Was
so who did the artwork for that? So the photo was Tony Frankie something. Okay. And the artwork, I think my friend Jim Nolan did the artwork on that one. He put it together.
I was just wondering, because I don't know I haven't seen what it looks like now, but that's where we last saw you in that. So I'm looking very forward to seeing, like, it's almost like.
I would say look a lot the same as that photo, as the Dubwitch cover. Like,
but I love that this individual, Jim.
So Jim, another thing I have to tell you that's really cool about this guy is that he did the artwork for the single and for Save Your Life. And also he's an incredible remixer. So he just did a giant remix on this. And then he hooked me up with 10 remixers, and they're all doing remixes of this song. And
Skrillex.
we're going to, no, not Skrillex. And we are basically going to take all the remixes and put out a maxi single on Bandcamp.
Yes.
And
dog approved. We brought back the alternative club show on Fridays and Saturdays, so I need one of those mixes to put on.
There's I just got a house remix. Like, this guy did Eric Oler is his name, and he just did a remix, and he turned the whole song into a house. It's just straight up house. I was like, oh my God, I would have never have thought.
Is it which house?
It's not Witch House.
No. Oh, okay.
No.
See, I pay
No,
attention.
it's House. It's Chicago. It's old school Chicago house. Is what
You should you should reach out to Alberto. I'm sure he can do something.
Oh, does he do remixes?
I think so.
I would
Can't
love
hurt.
for Alberto
He would
do
love
remixes.
to hear that you're doing what you're doing. There's an issue online. There's an issue on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of Stella Soleils.
Oh, I know. My Instagram is not even Stella Soleil.
I know yours isn't, but I was like, you could make millions. Just sue all these people.
No, you want to hear something even like more disturbing? I went to buy the domain stellasoleil.com because I have a website, which is where I would like you to direct everybody to. It's my website is actually official stellasoleil.com.
Oh, that's cool that you got to keep the name, but it's like, so.
Well, because Universal owns the domain.
Still?
And they wanted me to pay them $8,000 to get the domain.
And you told
my name.
You're like, kiss my ass.
Exactly. Kiss my ass.
So it's okay. Is it up now? The official?
Yeah.
Okay, let me.
So official stellasoleil.com.
Because that's how you have to do things on the YouTubes nowadays too. You have to put official. Official Stella. So let's do this the Zoom way. Let's share my screen. Let's Stella SOL. I always forget how to do this.
EIL.
EI.
No, EIL.
EIL.
Yeah.
.com.
.com.
Okay. So who did this? Who does this?
So this is a longtime friend of mine. Her name is Molly Garvey. She's a web designer, and I've known her since she was a Sister Soleil fan since she was like 14 years old.
So she's me. So this, you got the video, the lyric video. You have
there's not much to it. It's where to buy it, the single, and she linked a Wikipedia page. And which is really kind of funny because I have no idea who wrote this.
Don't you love that? There's one for I don't think there is one for Alt 360, but there was one for the high school station I took part of, and they knew a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I was like, okay.
I know there's some stuff on here that I was like, I forgot about
like
that.
You got. All right, so if listeners are just tuning in and they're like, I missed all of that, go to officialstellasoleil.com. There you go. You got your dub witch, you got the albums. So then on Instagram, you're just going by your real, is that what you're going by then? Your real name?
My real name is Stella Katsudis, and I mean I've had my own Instagram forever, and I just didn't even bother doing a Stella Soleil Instagram.
Well, there's the most one that is Stella Soleil is this like an Asian girl. She's got 2,000 followers and she just has 6 posts.
Oh my God.
Conspiracy, but they're videos too. We'll talk to her. We'll get her off the internet, but it's so ridiculous. Like there's a lot of Facebook pages too that I was like, really? You can't come up with your own name? Okay. So what's going to do? I love this site. Like it's kind of like, why did I even bother talking to you? I just had it all right here.
It's just right there.
Yeah. So so this would be where to buy the song, and then you can, so you think that the video would be done in over a month?
Yeah, 'cause we're working really hard on it, and we're shooting it ourselves. My husband is going to shoot it. And we've had to do a lot of research on, lighting techniques and, and just do a lot of, because we have a great camera that shot a couple Dub Witch, a couple of the videos, Dub Witch videos that are up on YouTube was shot on this camera. And so I've just, you know, talked to my husband, who's just got like the greatest eye ever. Like always his Instagram photos and like, you know,
What?
his photo, like he'll just take
Why
pictures of
not
stuff.
have him on?
And I'll just be like, God, you just have like such an eye for that. And
Does
then
he have
I
an
was like,
eye now? Because it's really dark in your place.
I
And
know
I'm
it is
worried that
really
he's going to
dark.
trip over the
Honey,
dog.
I can't. This is how long we've been talking. It got dark outside.
We started at 8 a.m.
Anyway, so
What's his?
I told him I was like, I'm like, why don't you just shoot the video instead of me trying to find someone? I'm like, you're more than capable and you have a great eye, so he's gonna do it.
Perfect. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
So which
symbolic
is
because you had Love Song and now you have this, so he's always there.
exactly.
What's his Instagram?
I don't know. What is his Instagram? You know what? I don't know. He probably doesn't want me to tell people what his Instagram is.
Well, yeah, you could. I mean, you could tell me later if he. I just was curious. Like, you know, we won't say it on the air.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't, it's like I don't even know what it is because he doesn't even use his own name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask him. But he's a great photographer, you know. So
I don't remember that.
he'll get the beauty shots.
Yeah. How long have you
Without
had?
me looking like the Joker.
Yes. Just where's that guy now? Where's Hype? Is he still hyping?
You know, I mean, he's got you know, you look at his, you know, if you look him up online, I mean, it's pretty impressive. His like long history in music videos, you know, and just like the, you know, Mary J. Blige. I mean, just like if you're huge, you worked with Hype Williams, you know, so.
It's always fascinating though when you see these people though, and then it just like, I always wonder like where it stops somewhere, but what happened?
Well, you know, I think what happens is people get so big and like so like
In the moment, they don't think ahead.
They don't think ahead. They get caught up. They start charging. I mean, that video back then in 2001, 2001, when I shot that video back then was $750,000.
Wow.
And so, I mean, he's shot music and that was like a discount. Like his rates were like well over $1 million for some of these like Puff Daddy videos and Missy Elliott videos, you know, well over $1 million, you know, and that was back then, you know, so, and I think you just get to be too big, like, and people all of a sudden like start going, I just don't have that kind of budget, so we're not going to hire him. We're going to go.
The bubble bursts and
then you kind of fade away, you know.
And I'll actually say, I think this is a great time going back to the music scene is people are just doing great with just home videos.
Yeah.
Just doing like either acoustic versions or they'll just do like their little squares and.
Well, I was even like, for that lyric video that's up, I put a post up on Facebook saying I can pay $100 who wants to do a lyric video for me. And then this guy comes up with this and it's brilliant. I'm like, that is really good.
Yeah.
Like,
I used to hate, I always thought it was like a poor, like I thought it was like some Joe Schmo, like making these videos as a fan, but now the like artists are getting, like you said exactly what you did. And some of them are pretty.
Well, this kid Josh that did mine. That's what he does. He has a company that does all lyric videos. Like he does millions of them.
And I love that too. And it's an honor to have someone who does lyrics have the lyrics stand out, because I used to be the radio guy that just heard the sound and then the lyrics, and then I'm like, oh yeah. Now it's in my face first. That's why
because the lyrics are the most important thing in this song. You know, it's about the lyrics. In this song, it's the lyrics come first. And so it makes sense that I had somebody do a really good lyric video because I wanted people to definitely know what I was saying, you know.
Do you have so you talked about therapy. Do you have a group organization that you support or that you advocate for?
Well, not a specific group, although one of the things that we are also doing is that we are targeting all these suicide prevention websites and websites for depression and
Suicide
and
hotlines
and saying, hey, you can use this song if you want.
Oh my God, that would be, especially with these remixes. I mean, they don't have to be dance floor hits. They can be like like a chill kind of vibe as a background.
Yeah, so that is something that Celeste, this girl that's so incredible that I'm working with, like she found me a whole list of contacts of organizations like that. But I would say more than an organization is I would like to say the kind of therapy that I feel every single person on the planet should do. It's called dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT. And it's just like the most amazing thing ever. I mean, it's life-changing. And I would say
what would be an example?
Well, it's all about coping skills, and there's modules. There's distress tolerance, emotional regulation, mindfulness, and inter-affective personal skills like relationships. And it's just all these skill building exercises for these modules, these four modules. And then you apply them into your everyday situations or to your mental illness that you're coping with, and I just feel like it's just, instead of psychoanalysis, which is like, let's talk about your childhood and blah, blah, blah.
Trying to piece it together and find a cause.
Instead of, I never responded to that. Like, I was always like, I know where it comes from. Who cares? Just tell me what to do now, and that's like more what behavioral therapy is about. It's like, what do you do with this now? Like, this is how you feel. How do you cope? It's more goal oriented. And I just think it's so much more effective than any other kind of therapy.
And you're not saying get over it, but you're saying
cope with it. Here's how you can cope with it. It's never going to go away.
Use it. Use it.
It's like, here's how to tolerate it. This is how it's not going to ruin your life. These skills,
Well, I know we'll hear more of you. We always do. I'm going to let you go, but we are going to, it depends if you're in the mood. It would be nice to get an ID for Save Your Life.
All right.
Nice. And maybe a station ID and an Indie 101, but just those three, then we're done. And then I will turn your lights back on, Stella.
All right, let me turn some lights on right now. Hold on, because it is pitch black in here. I can't believe we've been talking for like 3 hours.
The sun moves around.
All right, some lights.
Some light, yes. Mood lighting.
Okay.
All right, so do you want to write it down?
No, just tell me. Just do one at a time.
Okay. We'll do this. We're going to do the single last because I want you to build up for it.
Okay.
We'll do, because I'm surprised I don't have this, but I don't know if you did a Stella Soleil. You did Dub Witch, so maybe that's why. So this is Stella Soleil.
Yes, this is Stella Soleil.
And you're listening to Alt 360 Radio.
Alt 360 Radio.
Playing all degrees of alternative.
I am writing this down. All degrees of alternative. All right. Ready?
Yes.
This is Stella Soleil. You're listening to Alt 360 Radio, playing all degrees of alternative.
Good. If you messed that up, I would have been like, girl. You did it all the time. And now it gets simple from here. You just have to say, this is Stella Soleil, and you're listening to Indie 101.
This is Stella Soleil, and you're listening to Indie 101.
And now we'll do your song.
Okay.
Well, it's your only single, so we won't say recent, because this will stick with it. So it's just, this is Stella Soleil, and here is Save Your Life here on Alt 360.
Okay. This is Stella Soleil. Here is Save Your Life on Alt 360 Radio.
See? Look at that.
Is that it? Oh, I thought you were going to make me do it again.
No. So this was great. I'm glad we got to catch up and do this.
I'm hoping that I probably threw you a little bit, kind of talking about like all the depression.
No.
Like
So we did. Do you know Moth and the Flame?
No.
I'll send you their video.
Okay.
They were. I mean, they are. They're a rock alternative band, and they had this album that I loved, and it was sound lyrics together that was similar to your style. Then I saw this video of a song, and it's a story, and I cried in the end because it hit me what this was about. And then I talked to the lead guy, and realized the whole album is about the depression, and he got right into it really quick. And I let him. I mean, of course, I'm not going to try to change it, but it was just like, that's what we're here to talk about. So I love that because you said that to me, and it was always like, I joke like, save it for the show, but I was like, no, like I knew it was going to come out because that's what the song was about. But I love that you're still like positive because of what it is, but it's because of like, you have to tell that story.
Yeah.
You can't just say, oh, this song came up, and not state why. So I think people forget, and that's why I think I referenced when I talked to you about that Alanis track, which I think I had. Did I send it to you? The video she did it was this called Smiling, and she did it with the cast of Jagged Little Pill, and they're all
right. Yeah, and
going
they're
crazy. And that's exact when you said March hit, your words were exactly what Alanis said, and that's why they did the video that way, because you forget that, like I said, like my depression was different, but I was still because of isolation, where these people were showing, their work was done, and we forget about I'm complaining about which room to go into, and they're like, I don't want to be in a room.
I don't want to live anymore.
I don't want to live, right? And they're like, yeah. So I'll send that video too. But no, I love that you still ended with that, and it pieced it all together. And this was like, I normally don't take a lot of notes, so I didn't want to go in chronological, but I'm glad we did, because that's gonna be easy to piece together, and I'm gonna be able to find these songs, and I really want to listen to that album now. Like,
it's really good. It's really good. Like,
so you're fine if I play any of the above mentioned stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything you want.
I think that would be great.
Even if you played Kiss Kiss, I don't even care. Like,
I gotta do it. And I never realized I never did that with you. Like, just personally to like see. I always knew it existed, but I didn't really like. This is gonna be Stella's show. So should I? This week is fine. Or should I?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Actually, it's funny because this girl Celeste was contacting this radio station in Rochester, New York, and just trying to get the information. Mm-hmm. And he responded to her on Facebook, and he's like, "What track are you talking about? What artist? I'm totally interested." And she's like, "Stella Soleil." He's like, "Never heard of her." And then she told him my history and then sent him to my Wikipedia. And then he messaged her back. He's like, send me the single right away. And she's like, can I send it to him? I'm like, send it to him. And then he messaged her back. He's like, I love it. I'm going to play it. I want to do an interview with her. So like,
oh my God.
I know. So it's like, we didn't even like start pitching yet. And like, it's already like, it's good. You know, like.
I had you first.
You had me first. You had me at hello.
At hello. No, this works out because I looked at that girl that I showed you the dog photo. She is doing a live concert in she's from Nashville. She's doing like a social distanced concert on September, anytime after September 6th. So she wanted to take up September 6th. So this works out because I just realized that next Sunday is the 30th. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did it go?
Do you need to do a snapshot of me?
I did.
You did already? Okay,
yeah.
Great.
So I'm gonna, and I'm not gonna. What I meant, I'll pick the ones that I think, and then I'll show you, and then you can choose whichever. But I really like the one you sent me too.
Well, use that one.
Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll play that because I have your song right. Oh, so that's the edit I have is the right edit. Save your life.
Yeah, I sent you the mastered version.
Got it. Because I put that. Oh, that's right. Because I have it in the. Because I remember seeing it it's in the library, but I haven't played it yet.
If you look at this, just look at it. It should say
Save Your Life
mastered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mastered.
Yeah. MP3. Yeah.
Deal. I'll debut it then. So I'll send all that to you stuff early, but it'll be Sunday from 6 to 8 Central.
Sunday from 6 to 8 Central.
Central. Yeah.
Okay. So this Sunday.
So,
all right. So I'm gonna post it.
And I'll make a little. I can do that probably even tonight. Because I have the photos. I'll make the art. You'll see. I kind of keep consistent now. We do the follow-ups and then we do so I'll make that look pretty. That's actually my hobby that I've always wanted to do when I was talking about college was photography and graphic design. And there'll be some nights where even though I would work at 8 a.m., I would sit here and I finally like bought into the software. Like, there's always like the free versions and realizing like, okay, it's $6 a month, whatever. And I just play and play and play and play. And now nice. I do like photography stuff and yeah.
Awesome.
We're all doing what we want to do now. Thanks, COVID.
I said, actually, I am one of the people that like kind of actually benefited from the whole COVID thing,
Yeah.
Between like getting in shape and writing music again and like just, turning the news off and like kind of reclaiming my life. And, I actually there's a lot of positives.
I don't want to say I haven't heard any negatives except the obvious with health, but I have found people find they're calling or they needed this to push them away from whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
Like there's some teachers that are not coming back to our school because of health, whatever, but they're like, I needed this to happen to get out of here. I mean, not that they didn't want to be at the school. They just wanted to
do something else.
Yeah. All right. I will talk to you soon. Go walk the dogs. I don't know.
Actually, I'm dog sitting right now, and she's about to come pick him up. So it's
perfect.
Perfect timing.
Oh, one question I meant to ask was, whose dogs did you have when this song came out? And
it's these clients that live across the street in the building directly across the street from me.
What kind of dogs were they?
Their dogs. Harley is like a mixed Chihuahua mix, and Cooper is an Australian Shepherd.
No. I was just seeing if there's like a connection of some side, like
dogs.
Dogs.
They're just dogs.
You should
they're
do a Cisco.
They're like the best thing on the planet.
Cats are cute. I like independent. All right, I'll let you go. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. I'll send you the artwork with it'll have the time, and then you can do whatever you want with it.
Okay, I'll post it on Facebook when you get done with it.
Yes.
Okay,
Cool.
awesome.
All right. See you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.